Dear students, having defined market demand and market supply, we are now ready to introduce market equilibrium. Now, equilibrium refers to the market condition in which once it is achieved tends to persist. In the context of a commodity or a service, equilibrium is defined as a point where quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. And equilibrium refers to the market condition which once achieved tends to persist. And it occurs when quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. In the example we have seen for price Px, Qdx, Qxx, we combine these 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc. We have quantity demanded 2000, 3000, 4000, 8000 and quantity supplied as 8000, quantity supplied as quantity demanded 2000. As price of X increases, quantity demanded 8000, 6000, etc. 0, 8000, 6000, 0, etc. Demand supply 2000, 4000, etc. 8000. And geometrically, equilibrium occurs when the demand and supply curves intersects. The demand curve is this and the supply curve is this. Supply of X, demand for X. Equilibrium occurs at price equal to 4 and the corresponding quantity is 4000. Corresponding quantity is 4000. And this is how we determine equilibrium. Equilibrium is obtained by intersection between demand and supply curves. Mathematically, we equate the demand curve. We use the condition Qdx equal to Qsx. And Qdx is 8000 minus 1000 Px is equal to minus 4000 plus 2000 Px. We equate quantity demanded to quantity supplied. Now 8000 plus 2000 is equal to 1000 Px plus 2000 Px or 12,000 is equal to 3000 Px or Px is equal to 12,000 by 3000 is equal to 4. And substituting the value of 4 either in the demand equation or in the supply equation. For example, 8000 minus 1000 into 4 is equal to 4000. Is equal to 4000. So we can derive equilibrium using demand and supply curves, or we can equate quantity demanded to quantity supplied to find out equilibrium. Now remember this, equilibrium occurs when quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. But we know that, suppose this is the equilibrium, the demand curve, the supply curve, and equilibrium quantity, equilibrium price. This equilibrium will remain constant only as long as factors kept constant other than price is remaining constant. If there is a change in any of these factors, equilibrium will change. For example, an increase in the demand for the commodity usually increases both the price and quantity. Similarly, a decrease in the quantity demanded reduces both the price and quantity. That is one shift. An increase in supply increases quantity and reduces prices, whereas a reduction in supply usually increases price and reduces quantity, equilibrium. Now, if both supply and demand shifts, what will happen to price and quantity? It depends on the relative strength or relative magnitude of the shift. Equilibrium, quantity will increase, but prices can remain constant, increase or decrease. For example, suppose that the supply curve shifts, demand curve shifts as d dash x, and the supply curve shifts as s dash x. You can see that there is an increase in quantity, but price remain constant. This is only one possibility. So there are many possibilities, and you can experiment with these. So equilibrium occurs when quantity supplied is equal to quantity demanded. Quantity supplied is equal to quantity demanded. Now, one more point is, equilibrium will be achieved if and only if there are no interference in the forces of demand and supply, P and Q. Suppose that government enters and regulates the price, free price versus regulated price. Free price is the price determined by demand and supply. Regulated price is price regulated. Suppose government fixes a price floor at P1, then there is excess supply. So if the government fixes a price greater than what is determined in the market, there is excess supply. If a government establishes a price floor P dash dash, there is excess demand. There is excess demand or there is shortage. Excess demand or a shortage. Such possibilities are there. P1 is a regulated price. P11 is also a regulated price. P is the free price, price determined by the forces of demand and supply. Now, let us give a mathematical proof to equilibrium. Equilibrium occurs when QD is equal to QS. QD is equal to A minus BP. QS is equal to minus C plus DP. A and B are greater than 0. C and D are also greater than 0. A, B, C and D are coefficients, parameters assumed to be positive. Now, let me first express these points graphically like this. Graphically. Now, unlike as we do conventionally in economics, I take price here, quantity here, QS and QD here. That is the practice in mathematics. as in the case of mathematics. Now, A is the y-intercept, that is A, and this is the demand curve, QD. And minus C is the y-intercept here. So, this is minus C. And this is the supply curve, QS. Equilibrium occurs at P star, Q star, determined by intersection between demand and supply curves. Intersection between demand and supply curves. As I told you, one reason suggested for a minus C is to ensure that no supply will forthcome unless price is sufficiently high, as we have seen in the previous class. Now, before giving another interpretation, let us equate demand to supply. A minus BP is equal to minus C plus BP, so that A plus C is equal to D plus B into P, or P is equal to A plus C by D plus B. So, this is the equilibrium price, P star, A plus C by D plus B. Now, we assume that the commodity under consideration is a normal good, so that in equilibrium the commodity has a positive price. So, if you ask me whether C should be minus or not, that condition is not required. The condition required is C must be less than A. If C is greater than A in the equation, P become negative in equilibrium. As an example, if C is positive and is greater than A, then where will be the supply curve will be like this. The supply curve will be, that is like this, and this is C. And if you extend the demand and supply curves, you will see that they intersect at a negative price. And this will not make any economic sense. Suppose that C is positive, but C is less than A, and if C is less than A, you have C here. So, in equilibrium there is a positive price. So, the reason why we take C as negative is to ensure that the commodity under consideration is a normal good with a positive price. But if you take it as C as positive, you must impose the condition that C is less than A. Otherwise, in equilibrium, you will not get a positive price. It will not become an economic commodity, it will become a free good. That is the problem. So, remember this point always. And you can experiment with taking P here and Q here. The results will not be different, except that slope and intercept will be different. Now, to obtain equilibrium quantity, we substitute Q as equal to A minus B into what is P? A plus C by D plus B. We substitute equilibrium price in the demand equation or in the supply equation is equal to D plus B is taken as LCM, A into D plus B minus B into A plus C. That will give you A cancels, AD minus BC by D plus B, AD minus BC by B plus D as the equilibrium quantity. And to ensure that in equilibrium the quantity is not negative, we have to ensure that AT is greater than BC. This condition is required to ensure that in equilibrium quantity is positive, not negative. So this is the mathematical derivation of equilibrium, and you can experiment with you can work out examples to clarify the points. And A, B, C and D are positive quantities. So you substitute the values, obtain equilibrium price, equilibrium quantity, and if you are interested, you derive the demand schedule, demand curve, etc. for getting the same result geometrically.